And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces initiative she started with Michelle Obama when she was Vice President and now carries on.
Good morning, world, since we haven't said that yet.
Good morning.
But we saw this clip, and well, let's watch it one more time because it's just too good.
And I'm deeply proud of the work she's doing as First Lady with Joining Forces initiative she started with Michelle Obama when she was Vice President and now carries on.
This is a damn shame.
Damn shame. I just thought that we just had to let it sit there at the beginning without saying anything because with all the clips of Joe Biden making his foibles and gaffes, that one, for some reason, I almost spit out my coffee.
You try not to laugh, but it's like he writes this stuff for us. It's like we don't have to work for it.
It's why I saw him reading something recently, and his eyes are squinted, so you can tell he's just trying real hard to stay on the teleprompter. Right. And you could tell at that moment, I guess he went off script.
But you know what the reason was for that? He wasn't prepared.
Are you prepared?
Like Brian says, are you prepared? Do you have enough food, water, and other essentials to get you through tough times? If not, check out My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families just like yours. Right now, you can save 25% off their popular 4-week emergency food kit, which will keep you well fed for 4 weeks worth of breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories a day. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. In fact, you may need it a lot sooner than that.
So don't wait. Go to www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com. That's www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com.
What are we talking about today?
Cedric and I are going to talk about another company that has gone woke, or maybe they've been woke and we just didn't see it. It wasn't right in our face. You already know about Nike. The Kaepernick thing with Nike was enough for me to not buy Nike again. So I try not to buy Nike.
We didn't touch on this, but did you hear that Kaepernick was asking for a comeback to a... So if you're a slave, why would you want to come back to the plantation?
I know. He complains that it's like slaves and chattel being out there, and now he wants to do it again. Is he going to just move locations again, though, to see if they follow him? I think the guy's such a joke. Yeah. Joke. And people like him.
Yeah, that's a damn shame.
But this company I'm talking about is, well, let's roll the commercial. I'm willing to bring it up on here.
Adidas.
Let's do this, and I'll put it up on the screen behind us, of course, because that's what we do. I'll cut all this out, don't worry. All right, so I took a video of my TV because I couldn't believe what I heard. So I'll play it for you. So the quality is not great, but it's good enough.
Good enough for government work.
It's impossible to take hold of the world spotlight overnight. Create your own uniform. Be a cover model, a powerful athlete, or compete as a trans woman. Impossible? No. I'm possible.
And that is a damn shame because I think one of the best looking clothing lines out there is Adidas. I like the 3 stripes.
Yes. They've been around for a while. They've been around for a long time.
Oh, I know. That's one of the companies that was when we were little kids. People was they all day I
dream about sherbet.
Soccer. So anyway, we don't have a problem with uplifting people. The only thing that I didn't like about that commercial, other than the whole thing was woke, showing cover models of people that obviously in the past wouldn't be cover models. I mean, that's like having Cedric as a cover model.
All right. The audacity.
But trans athletes competing in sports, and we talk about that. They're men competing in women's sports.
Yeah.
So Adidas, why would you promote something like that? It's not fair to women.
Well, they're joining the woke Olympics, and we don't have enough time to talk about what's going on at Disneyland. I think I went there for the final time about 3 months ago with everything that's going on there. But in that Adidas commercial, there's two things I wanted to talk about. The transgender thing, and like you just said, biological men should not be competing against biological women. And I'm really getting sick and tired of the whole body positive thing with no matter who shows up. Now, I'm not trying to fat shame anybody.
You're fat-phobic.
No, not fat phobic, but I do. There's something about being healthy. And yeah, can you have on a few pounds and still be healthy? Absolutely. But now they're trying to go completely to one side and say if you're literally obese, then that's okay.
You used to look up to athletes because of their fitness. And now if we're going to do this body positivity, I mean, the Biggest Loser couldn't be around today, right? Because that would be fat shaming and changing people's, what do they call themselves? The true selves or whatever.
True selves, yes.
No, these people knew that they were unhealthy, they were going to die, so they did everything they could on this show to try to eat healthy and lose weight.
But people know what The Biggest Loser is, right?
Now, for those of you who don't, it was a show about where they bring obese people on and send them basically to a camp with these athletes, and they would train them and they would put them on a strict diet, and they would give them challenges and tempt them with donuts and stuff like that to see if they could handle real life afterwards. And some of these people, though, they did just ping pong back and they gained the weight again. Right. But they did teach them what you needed to do to lose weight, even though it was a little drastic. But at least the message was good. It's like, hey, you know what? At 600 pounds, you're not going to live to see your grandchildren. Right. That show couldn't be done because they would be called out on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, did you hear about Elon Musk?
I heard about Elon Musk.
Elon. Now he wanted to spend how much? God, he spent some billions of dollars just so he could be the top shareholder.
But the question is, does you bring 45 back and give him his account back and let him just
I know.
send out men tweets again?
I don't know what that means. It's only like he has 6%.
Right. Because
there's so many shareholders. So does that give you, it's not like a 51% shareholder where you get control. Right. So I don't know what his input is because he's still owns it with a bunch of woke companies. So it'd be interesting. Anyways, I digress. Right. But we were talking about Twitter. No, I lost my train of thought. Huh?
No, we're talking about Adidas, and we're talking about being woke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the Biggest Loser.
Yes.
Yeah, the Biggest Loser couldn't last because Twitter would just get rid of that show. They'd boycott it. But speaking of boycotting, I sent Cedric some good news.
Yes.
And I saw
Finally.
this, and it has to do with what we're talking about. So headline right here: transgender cyclist booted from women's championship after female competitors threaten to boycott.
Nice.
That's what female athletes need to do. They can't stay silent.
Yep. And it's all start with Matthew Thomas, Leah Thomas, whatever he wants to go by.
Will, right?
Will
Thomas,
yeah. Will Smith. No, Will Thomas. Will's the slapper. Okay. But I see nothing, and I think a lot of these girls were scared to speak out because that's what the left is good at, is calling you names and saying, well, you're transphobic. It's like, no, I don't want to compete against a man. Yeah. That's all it is. Well, he's not a man. He's a woman. Like, no, he is a man. Awesome for that.
Yep.
So a lot of the girls said, we're not gonna even ride.
So they knew they would. There goes their sponsors if they don't have a competition. So the girls stood up. The women stood up for themselves, and they got this guy. And if you look at the picture that I read it from, he just identifies as a woman. He looks like a guy. You see that? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I forget which magazine it was. I don't know if it was Channel 4 NBC, ping-ponging back to Leah Thomas. They had a picture of Leah Thomas just breaking in the water, just shoulder showing. And did you hear that? That they were accused of filtering Leah's face to make it look smoother, to make it look more feminine.
Yeah.
And the big broad shoulders were hidden underneath the water.
And they did a terrible job at it, too. Yeah. It was I work on Photoshop, and I'm not a professional. I could have done a better job than that touch-up they did on Leah Will's face.
Oh, my goodness.
But, so, some bad news with some good news. Adidas, why are you promoting men playing in women's sports? Disappointed. The two companies that I can still promote right now, Skechers, when you walk into their store, there's still a lot of red, white, and blue, a lot of American flag hats, and Under Armour. A lot of American, they even have the sleeve flags.
So I have to get Skechers socks. I mean, I don't have Skechers. I need some athletic socks.
Yeah. I get Puma. I don't know about them. I don't know if they're woke or not, but I like the Puma socks.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend asked me that like 3 weeks ago. She was, so now you know how much Disneyland owns. You're going to just ban and boycott everything that Disneyland does? I said, if I have to, I will. But there's no reason for us to flip-flop everything we do for 2% of the population. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I know. Hopefully the pendulum will swing. But what I don't like is usually the pendulum does this. Okay, and we just keep going from extreme to extreme. We need to do this and then just stop it right here. And don't let it go all the way to the right. I know some of you watching, you might want it to go way to the right. But I'd like to live in a society that, you know, we actually can talk to our neighbors even if we don't have the exact same political beliefs. So find a nice median space we can go to. Like a good example is I watch a lot of Dave Rubin. Mm-hmm. I like Dave Rubin. He's one of those people who comes out why I left the left, and it's basically he was one of those liberals, but he was kind of old school liberal, just freedom of speech, pro-American. So he left because of the left moving to socialism and wokeness. But he's a gay man, has a husband, and they want to have kids. So a lot of people on the right are talking crap about him because how can you do this? But that's who he is. And I want to be tolerant of people. We're not going to grow our movement. In my movement, I can't speak for Cedric, but mine is freedom of speech, live and let live, go with what the founders had. That is mine. So I'm not a conservative Christian. That's not my background. Mine is a constitutional conservative, that type of thing.
Right.
Dave Rubin fits that. The fact that he's gay and I'm not doesn't bother me. So when these people on the right, it's like we accuse the left of basically canceling each other and laughing about it. Well, we can't start canceling people that have our basic, when it comes to government, have our same philosophy. Now, their personal lives might be different than us,
right?
But when it comes to government, they believe like we do, live and let live.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like Brian said, well, first of all, anytime someone says, I'm not gay, you got to be leery because they're trying to sell it. So that you have to share it kind of makes me wonder. But I'm a very conservative, get away from me. I'm a conservative Christian, but very similar to Brian, I believe in smaller government, let people speak, and being tolerant. And on the same thing that Brian was talking about, Caitlyn Jenner is now getting a lot of flack because the left completely hates him. Did I say him? Completely hates him because he doesn't believe in transgender rights. But now that he's going to have a spot on Fox, the far right are saying, how can you bring someone like that onto our show? I'm like, let Caitlyn speak. And I like these platforms very much, like you were saying, let people speak. And if you agree with it, fine. But be intelligent enough to make your own decision and don't be influenced by someone that you see on screen.
And that's what we talk about. What the old right, the biggest knock on them is they're the ones who wanted to get in your bedroom. They're the ones who wanted to ban, certain things like gay marriage and all that. So you can have your opinion on gay marriage, and I know that not everybody, especially that watches this, agrees with gay marriage, and I struggle with that all the time. But I don't want to separate people who love each other. My whole thing was, well, do we have to call it marriage because that's in the religious realm of it is a whole different aspect. But that's a debate for that honest people can have with each other.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you dislike the person. Andrew Clavin, his son is gay. Mm-hmm. Andrew is a converted Christian. He's very religious. His son is religious. Andrew always says, you have to learn that it's not me to judge. That's for God to judge. I'm just here to love. So he loves his son for who he is. Yeah. That's how we have to be.
I get a lot of flack for that. I think those of you listening to us right now, Brian and myself, I get a lot of flack that I don't love people. But as a Christian man, and Lord knows I have my faults. I have a lot of things going on in my life. But it's up to us to call out people. For those of you who have children, I can't let my son touch a hot stove without saying, hey, don't touch that, because I love him. The fact that I have things going on in my life doesn't excuse me from saying to my son, hey, don't touch that. Hey, don't run on the hot coals without any shoes on. I love you enough to tell you the truth, despite what's going on in my life.
And I love this, and people on the left will say this all the time. Oh, you're such a hypocrite. An example is, why don't you want your kid we don't smoke pot, but I know people that do. Why don't you let your kids smoke pot? You smoke pot. Because they're not adults yet. When they make that decision as an adult, they can make that decision. But you're not a hypocrite if you tell a younger person who is still a child, who is still forming, same with drinking, that you don't want them to do that. That's not hypocritical. You love them. You don't want them to destroy their lives. You know, when they turn 21, then you want to go have a beer with them.
Well, that speaks to the Don't Say Gay bill
Yeah.
in Florida, because you have to be 21 to purchase alcohol. So what in the world makes you think that a 7 or 8-year-old can make the drastic decision of mutilating their body parts and flipping them inside out or filleting them and becoming something else?
Or putting them on hormone drugs,
Yeah.
which they're drugs. They change the way who you are.
Yeah. And I gave my opinion on, well, marriage. I mean, to me, marriage is between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Anything else, if it's same sex, you call it a union, call it a partnership. But I believe the term marriage is solely left solely to a man and a woman.
Yeah.
It's to say, I gotta say biological man and biological woman.
And you know what's funny? Dave Rubin and Dennis Prager are good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dennis Prager was very against calling the union a marriage between a gay man and a gay, between gay people.
Yeah.
Dave Rubin obviously married his, now husband. They still get along. They still are under the same tent. They have the same political philosophies when it comes to how a country should be run. And then what you do in your personal life is your personal business. What they both are against is, even Dave Rubin, who's gay, why do you have to put that out there in front of everybody? Just like the Don't Say Gay bill. Mm-hmm. He made a good point. It's also the Don't Say Straight bill. You don't talk to kindergartners through third graders about any of that sexuality between two men, two women, or a man and a woman. So the whole rhetoric is just ridiculous because they're trying to just appeal to that one segment that's like you said, the 2% that's taken over the world right now.
Yeah. And then this isn't a marriage talk, but I just believe that government itself should stay out of marriage, regardless if it's gay or if it's straight. I believe the government itself should just stay out of marriage.
Yeah.
And it should be handled by the church or the people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. In this day and age, there's no... Straight people now choose not to get married, and they still live together and have families. I don't know. I think the commitment is important, but why can they do that? They're not getting married. So, again, the state shouldn't get involved in any of that stuff. But if two faithful people want to have that union, then that's important, and we need to keep that.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, this is a more relaxed conversation with us today. I think we're excited because we're almost at 20,000 subscribers.
Yeah, thank you guys.
This is awesome. We first turned on the recorder for the first time. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we got to 100 subscribers? And now we're almost at 20,000. What does that mean?
Means we can say 20,000. We don't get a plaque until we hit 100,000.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, jeez.
So, come on. Share. We want one of those cool little plaques.
All 20,000 of you, share it with 5 of your friends, please.
There you go. On MSNBC, I'm sure you've seen this. If you didn't watch our episode last week, we reenacted our version of the slap. The slap hurled around the world. Well, an MSNBC host, she says, it's utterly ridiculous to center Oscar slap discourse around opinions of white folks. Is that how you feel too, Cedric? I shouldn't have an opinion on it?
No.
How do they make everything racial? I don't look at Will Smith or Chris Rock and think, oh, there's two black guys. I think there's Will Smith, who's one of the most successful film guys of the 90s that we used to watch, and of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Mm-hmm. And then Chris Rock, who's in a bunch of movies with a bunch of white guys anyways. I don't see it like that. And then these people on MSNBC come out and they make the whole thing about race. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I sent you the text from a friend of mine. She said, this is a black people problem.
Yeah, that's the same. She probably works for MSNBC.
It's a people problem. It's very similar to when women say, well, you don't have the right to speak out on abortion because you're not a woman. I said, well, let's not call it abortion. Let's call it murder. I said, whether I'm male or female, I can speak on murder because I am a human being and I love people. But everyone tries to flip it to make it just as it relates to them solely, so they try and flip the words around to make sure that Whitey doesn't chime in.
What's the comment?
I think this is from one of our hit songs last year in 2021, Aaron Lewis, Am I the Only One?
Great song.
And this guy, Ronald Bowen, says, and I'm trying to get ahead of you here on our next review, He says, Kid Rock has a great song out, We the People. You might like it. I'm a Vietnam vet, and I still think I got my, I can't say that. I still got my beep years ago from the government. So, yeah, we might take a look at We the People. Are we going to take a look at We the People sometime this week?
The song's been out for a while, and you all have wanted us to do a review, but they didn't have a video, and I thought, well, we don't want to just review a blank screen. So now Kid Rock has the actual video, and we are going to do that coming up, probably in the next week or so.
Yeah. But if you guys don't know, me and Brian have talked about in our production meeting, we're going to call it a production meeting, we're going to try and do more interviews with people, talk about more lighthearted stuff, because very similar to you, it gets heavy, like mentally talking about all the political nonsense that's going on in the world, and we don't want you guys to get sick and tired of us talking about political stuff because we're inundated by it. So we got some interviews coming up with people in our community who have written books or who are musicians and are doctors and physicians, and we're going to try and take a lighthearted look at stuff to kind of break up the monotony. Hope you guys are okay with that. Are we all done?
Done.
All right, you guys. Thank you. By the time this comes out, I'm gonna venture the game. We'll be at 20,000 subscribers. So, thank you for that. We appreciate it. So, with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share our channel with everyone you know. And please continue being good to each other. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later.